Welcome to another episode of ComX Recent Reads. We have three guests with me and Ed, and we will be talking about comics that we have recently read. So, I always forget what I meant to say here. That's right. Welcome, everyone. Okay, cool. Ed Kearsley, known for Radical. He's our man on the buttons tonight. What book will you be telling us about tonight, Ed?
Tonight, I got Guy's Cabin Library #1 by Peter Lane and Jason Paulus.
Sweet. And I'll go in clockwise direction because it just works well for my OCD. Ryan Christopher, known for Corner Box. Is there more to the name than that? I always forget.
Corner Box Comic Art. Corner Box, it works.
I knew there was more. And what would you be talking about tonight?
I'm talking about the Dark Horse comic This Damn Band by Paul Cornell and Tony Parker.
Nice. Oh, cool. And continuing on my little pattern here, Sarub,
hello.
You are known for ComX. I almost did it. ComX 1, which is a platform for reading comics online. And tonight you would be talking about
Fridge Boy from Space by Rob Feldman.
Oh,
it's
cool.
a lovely book. Yeah. Cool.
And that brings us to Peter.
Hello.
Known for Foes and Crimson Rascal, whether he likes it or not. What will you be reading tonight? Talking about tonight, sorry.
I've got a Dark Horse book as well. Blue Book.
Blue Book, cool.
Really cool little series.
And I forgot myself. I am Siz, known as the ComX guy for all things ComX. And I will be talking about No Man's Land tonight.
Nice.
Bit of self-promotion. I didn't mean to do that, but it just happened. So we'll get started. Should I start? What do you reckon, Ed?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure. Yep, cool. So yes, No Man's Land. It's a bit of a coming-of-age story for young women. It's about a gang. I wouldn't say gangs because there's only 3 women in each one, or is it 4? Oh crap! I think it's 3. But in each turf, they've got different turf around the city, and they're all rollerbladers, and they compete against each other and so forth. This story doesn't go into too much detail on what all that competing is exactly. It's more about one of the turfs, the girls on that turf, have decided to leave the town or leave the competition. Actually, I don't think they're leaving the town. I think they're leaving the competition. They're from my understanding, it's like hinted at, not outright said, but my understanding, it's a bit to do with the whole them fighting amongst themselves and each other instead of supporting each other, and they're sick of it. And that's but color choices I love. They're not like it's not like it's realistic or anything, but I just love the colors that Shaden has chosen in this. Just the combos, and each turf has different colors.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
Where's the map at the front? Yeah, see, each turf has its own color, and that's reflected in the book.
Wow.
Cool. That's clever.
So it's a Windlin. I should really make notes. Everyone else does. I'm the only person who doesn't. But yeah, it's a really cool book. Really cool read. And #2 is also really good as well. That's already out, and I'm looking forward to 3.
That's awesome.
To see what happens to the young ladies from this town and the competition to win the turf that's been abandoned. So
That's very interesting. Yeah.
It's hard to believe it's Shaden's first comic too, because it looks like an absolute pro did it. It's amazing.
So I'm looking forward to getting that in the shop, to be honest. Shaden keeps selling out of them, so she can't send them to me.
Good problem to have.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
So we've got a comment. Cool.
Hey, Nick.
Hey.
Hello, Nick May.
Now, should I go anti-clockwise to keep the OCD in check? And we'll start with Peter.
Okay,
Tell us about your book.
so I'll show up the cover again. This is a variant. There's a bit of foiling along the top here. I bought this one purely on the strength of the cover art.
Oh, cool.
I just
It's a
thought
stunning cover.
it really is beautiful. It's just as someone who puts in maybe too much detail into their work, when someone goes minimal like this, especially with the coloring, I'm always really impressed. It's by, hang on, I wrote it down, James Tinian IV, who's currently doing Something is Killing the Children with Dark Horse, which I hear is really good. I haven't read it myself. A couple of artists, Michael Avon Oeming, who's done Abe Sapien, and a handful of DC and Superman books. And there's a little mini story at the back included. And Klaus Janson did that. He's done a handful of Marvel stuff, mostly Daredevil and older ones. But it was really cool. They're based off true, I say true loosely, the folklore of UFO abductions, the famous cases. In this case, the Barney and Betty Hill abduction.
Right.
It really took me back to that old 90s show Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack. That as a kid I'd sneak out and watch in the middle of the night and be terrified of for the rest of the week. And I was utterly convinced I'd have to watch out for the Bermuda Triangle and alien abductions if I wasn't careful.
Yeah.
Sadly, it kind of became less of an issue as I grew up. So all the art is black, white, and blue.
Oh, cool.
Really stark. Beautifully rendered though. It looks great.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way they use shadows is. Yeah.
Sorry?
I was saying the way they use shadows is pretty clever.
It is. And things when the aliens do appear, they start throwing in a bit of red. Which is kind of cool. It's very like, ooh, you're in trouble. And here's the art. The art for the backstory is just black and white. And that's kind of a Jersey Devil type story. Very sketchy, lots of halftone.
Hi.
But it's cool. So this came out in February last year. It's a 5-issue miniseries, which I think is in a trade now. You can get pretty easily. And they've just released they've wrapped up the second series, which is Blue Book 1947. So presumably that's all about Roswell and the alien autopsy and stuff. It kind of flew under the radar when I was researching it. Not that many people seem to know about it. I'm glad it got enough traction to get a second trade, to be honest, but I'm looking forward. I got the rest of them digitally of the first run. If you're into government conspiracies, UFO, aliens, I'd say that's required reading. It's a really cool take. It's done very respectfully. It's done. No one looks like a kook. No one's written to be crazy. They're drawn very well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that subject has like for a very long time been like in the 90s it was done to death, especially in the movies. But I think for a very long time it hasn't been examined with a different lens. So if somebody does that in a new light, I think it's a great topic to explore.
Yeah, it's almost timeless in a way, some of those stories, the way they just keep going. And even if you don't believe it, even if you firmly believe it, and the truth is out there, there's something in it for you. You can hate read it. You can read it if you love it. You can read it if you think it's happened to you. And everyone who's read my work knows I love aliens. They seem to pepper up in everything I draw. So that was really cool to see it in comic form.
Yeah.
Nice just to have an alternative to X-Files as well. Like they've been doing X-Files comics for so long as well.
Yeah.
But they don't even have the same edge as the TV show, in my opinion. So to get a completely different perspective on the genre from such a great visual storyteller as Michael Oeming is pretty incredible too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I've only read the first one. I'm looking forward to really exploring the rest. I kind of skim the other issues because I tend to do that when I'm reading digitally. I'm looking forward to really sitting down and studying them. It's great.
Cool. I'm probably meant to ask questions, but I don't know. So,
I have a question, if that's okay. Does it have good any pop culture references to, like, any homages to any of the existing source material, or
No, not really. It's a very straightforward recount of what Betty and Betty Hill said happened to them.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like a cool dramatization. It really took me back to those the reenactments you'd see on shows like Unsolved Mysteries and which was really cool. Like it was a simple summer night when they came home from holidays. Little did they know they were followed. And,
nice.
But completely earnest. It's totally sincere, which is even better.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks for that. So to keep my pattern going, Sarab. I'm going to get it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going to butcher it.
That's
Sorry.
okay. That's okay.
Let's talk about your book, my friend.
Awesome. So, Fridge Boy from Space. It's a very interesting book. One, it's written by Rob Fieldman. He's a cartoonist from Sydney, and it's published by ComX. Nat from Brisbane. So
Nat Carmichael. Yep.
Yeah, Nat Carmichael from Brisbane. Yeah, he's it's a fantastic book because it's so the art is very cartoon like, I would say, because Rob's a cartoonist. He makes like funny posters and stuff, and it kind of shows because this whole book is chock full of like references, pop culture references, right from it has everything from Darth Vader to Wiggles. Like Wiggles are literally Earth's first line of defense against Darth Vader. It's that kind of insane. So do you see Wiggles there, dressed up in spacesuits, ready to fight? Darth Vader and all the AT-ATs. But yeah, still it has beautiful character moments, and there's some real heart to the story. There's also like real random jokes like this, if like this, there's some meta commentary on like people, like it's like somebody's writing this movie script in the background, and it has commercial breaks and stuff like that. So it says this thing kills 99.9% of the germs and viruses, but if you take it twice, it'll kill 199. And at some point, spoiler alert, everyone from Neo to Wonder Woman show up, to Sherlock Holmes in a page spread. So I would say I highly recommend it. It's one of the best $13 I've spent in the last couple of months just doing this haul from conventions. Rob himself is an amazing guy. He was dressed in a spacesuit at the con, and he was taking pictures with everyone. So yeah.
So is that where you got the book? Like where he was like, was that at an event like a supernova?
Yeah, I got it from I was at one of the regional conferences, Wollongong Comic Con.
I've heard of that one. Yeah, it sounds like a really good one.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I actually met Max and Dushan there for the first time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they were tabling right next to me. So the comic stall was right next to me.
That's right. I remember them telling me about that. The ComX and the ComX.
Yeah, we were together. So yeah, I met Rob there, and Nat was there as well. It was fantastic, meeting them in person and talking about the story and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool. Did you pick up anything else by Rob?
I know not at that time, but I'm keen to explore more. Yeah, I'm keen to.
Yeah. I want to get it after showing what you showed then. I want to get into it as well now.
Yeah,
I'll find a way to get it in Brisbane.
Yeah, I've met so many fantastic creators from Brisbane already. I met Brad at Supernova. He publishes Tales Too Stupid to Tell,
Such a cool name.
which is it's a very fun book. It also, like, the whole setup is like like the old EC Comics and Creep Show kind of, like, the feel to it. So it's like an anthology, and bunch of other stories mixed in. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for that. That's I've added that to my list
Yes.
for sure. So I guess to keep my order going, we're going to pick on Ryan. Not really pick on him. He loves talking about comics.
All right. So this week, I'm going to be talking about This Damn Band. So this was published in 2015 by Dark Horse, written by Paul Cornell, who has written Doctor Who comics, and he did some issues of Wolverine with Alan Davis, and illustrated by Tony Parker, who is best known for working on Mass Effect Foundation comic series and God of War. And he has an excellent new book that's coming out in October, which is sort of a modernization of the tale of Medusa as like a superhero sort of thing. Yeah. So this book, we follow the hard rock band Mother Father on their 1974 world tour. The comic's told in like a rockumentary style. So the reader is almost in the position of the cameraman for the documentary crew that's following the band around. So you get a combination of like different storytelling devices throughout. It's really great because you sort of get those candid behind the scenes goings on of the band. You get them on stage doing their thing. You get their asides with the camera where it's like just one band member complaining about XYZ. So they do a really good job of establishing this format. And one of my favorite things about the art style is that there's a few times where a band member or multiple band members are under the influence of drugs, and Tony's changed the entire art style for those sections. And there's also a separate art style for when they're events that haven't been captured on film by the documentary crew, but they've been anecdotally told to them. So it plays out differently visually as well.
That's cool.
And the main sort of plot point for the book is, a lot of rock bands, especially rock bands in the 70s, they all used to be like, we worship Satan, man. But what if they didn't realize that they actually were worshipping Satan? So
wow,
they're on tour, they're trying to record a new album, and band members start acting weird. Their manager goes off the deep end. Groupies start going missing. So it's got a little bit of a rock and roll Scooby-Doo quality to it as well.
interesting. That's so cool.
That's
because
great.
you're kind of trying to figure out, like, what is going on? Is any of this real, or was it the band members don't know? Like, what was a drug? Did they actually meet the devil? Was it just a drug trip? Like, what's going on? So many events end up being the only parts that you can trust are the parts where you know that you're in that role of the cameraman, because everything that you're experiencing when you're reading through that lens is like, it's fact, it's being caught on video. And then the rest is like, how true is this tale? Like, is everything happening the way that it's being told to us? And things get pretty crazy. But it's Scooby-Doo like in the sense that, one, is the villain really a villain? Two, who is the villain? and can you actually unmask them before you get to the conclusion? So like,
Nice.
thinking about like I want to read this book again, because knowing now what happens, I think it'll be more fun to try and find the clues. Like,
Yeah.
when did they start alluding to who the actual, antagonist of this book actually is, and where are the breadcrumbs? So I think it's going to be really, really fun. But yeah, if you liked movies like This Is Spinal Tap, Almost Famous, Rockstar, those sort of music-focused movies, then I think that you'd really enjoy this book. The artwork by Tony is phenomenal. Try and find a really interesting page of them on stage or something. Oh, what's great is they have all these all the transitions in the book are done like old school gig posters.
Cool.
That's so amazing.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, and then this is an example
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Looks cool.
Wow.
of the interior work.
It's really
Let me
nice
see if
art.
I can find an example of when things go a bit screwy, because it's
Yeah.
quite funny. Okay. And then, when they're on drugs,
Oh, yeah.
things start to get
That's fantastic.
a bit weird.
Cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely, it was. I was sold as soon as I saw, okay, hard rock band, 1974 world tour. That's all I needed to know. It didn't even need to have like all the supernatural elements to it. It could have been a straight up rock and roll biopic book, and I would have been sold. But then you add in, like I say, like that creepy sort of supernatural Scooby-Doo element, and I think it was a sleeper. Like, I got onto this book because I used to live in Phoenix, Arizona. Tony used to live in Phoenix, Arizona, so I got to know him through like various Comic Cons and store meetups and signings and all that sort of stuff, right when this book was about to come out. So I was lucky enough to sort of be on the hype train for it back in 2015 when the book first came out.
Cool.
And yeah, it's one that I recommend that all comic fans pick up if that's your jam. If you like Black Sabbath, if you like Led Zeppelin, you're going to get really cool vibes out of reading this book.
Nice.
Very cool.
Cool. Thanks, Ryan. Awesome art.
Kind
Yes,
of-
I agree.
It is awesome art, naughtiest art.
Okay. G'day all.
Hey, Rusty.
Kind of reminds me of two things. There's a movie called Deathgasm. It's a movie from New Zealand. It's a little indie movie, and it's about this group of teenagers who are into death metal, and they have a local rocker who's supposed to be a Satanist. They go to his place and they start playing heavy metal, and they end up raising hell in a small sleepy town in New Zealand. So it's incredibly funny. And it has like really creative kills, and kind of like based a lot of homage to Evil Dead and those kind of movies. Yeah, that's one. And the other thing that kind of reminded me was an indie series, comic series called Drumsticks of Doom. I don't know if you've read that or not.
No.
Yeah, it's an incredible series. I think so. The premise for that is it's kind of like an alternate music history where instead of Beatles, Black Sabbath is the most popular band in the world, and then
Cool.
I believe Ryan
demons
Bell was
and Ryan Vela is one of the artists on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you do, because there's a few out right now that'll kick your rock and roll jams too. There's Drumsticks of Doom, there's Morris and the Metal. There's some great representation in that space.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan.
No worries.
So, time for the button pusher to get up on the screen. Woo, I get to call someone else a button pusher.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Ed.
So I'm going to be doing Sky's Cavern Library by Peter Lane and Jason Paulus. And that little guy there is Sky. And he runs a library which is in an actual cave. And the books in the library are like portals to the dimension of the actual book, the story in the book. So if you're looking at a book, you'll get sucked into it. And so there's the dangerous books, they have to separate from the good ones. So you wouldn't want to get sucked into a horror story like a Stephen King or something. You'd want to go into a nice one. And art by Jason Paulus, who's where am I? It's a Australian pretty much legend by this point, who's been doing comics for ages. And see these pages with their crazy layouts. And
very cool.
My first, just looking at it, I thought, oh, that's way too busy of a layout. But as you look at it and read it, the way that he's drawn it and his use of color to separate the panels, it all works perfectly. And that's really good. That's the introduction story. There's 3 stories in it, and then there's the second one's Mech Wars with that girl whose name is Chris. So she's been having a hard time at school, and Sky sends her to a BattleTech universe where she fights robots. And then the last one is there's people dumping pollution into the lake right outside of the library, and this guy's looking at it through a telescope, and then this guy's like a Bigfoot character comes and beats them up, the polluters. Right. So that's a really cool book.
It looks very, very cool.
There's just another thing I wanted to show you guys is this is Comic Edge for May, June 1998. And if you go to this page, there's me, there's my book Riot Squad #1, 1998.
Oh, great.
On the next page, we've got Ryan Vella's book, Satanus Vomitus, and then Sky's Cabin Library, #1 by Peter Lane and Shane Foley.
That's a great.
So all 3 of us. Yeah.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Australian comic history and the thing. But yeah, I really like this. And the idea of the books being portals to the framing device for the stories is it's limitless. You can do classics, you could just make shit up. It's such a good idea. It's a great great
It's clever because a good book will transport you to what it's trying to tell you. It's a cool little book. And Peter Lane's one of the nicest dudes in comics, so
yeah. Met Peter at the Supernova in Melbourne.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, me too.
Very nice.
So that's my book.
Thanks, Ed. Okay. Now we've done that bit. All of us have talked about our books. Now is the part where we talk about, do you want to be on the show, viewer? Or anyone who's coming across this video want to be on this show and talk about a comic they've read recently? Well, then you can. You can by going to comx.show/interest. You can just go to comx.show and interest will be in the menu. If you don't want to type it all in, it's up to you. But yeah, that'll get you straight there. There's a form, fill it out. Let us know that you're interested, what shows you're interested in. Doesn't have to just be this one that you'd like to be on, and I will get in contact with you. We'll get you on one of these shows.
Awesome.
Tell us about comics. It's all about the love of comics. Okay, so this is the part where everyone gets to plug themselves for a minute.
Oh, that
I've been
sounds a bit
evil,
rude.
and I got a video that times everyone, because that's the kind of guy that I am. So I'm going to cheat. I'll go first. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to promote someone else's stuff tonight by Brad Daniels. He's doing a show in Brisbane, and I'll say no more, and I'll just show you the video.
Okay.
Two and 3, 9 p.m. I'm done. That was a good cheat. I don't have to talk or anything.
Wasn't that Brad in the trailer? It was Brad, right? One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Brad. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the big mustache thing.
Yeah.
Instead of his current Back to the Future look that he's got going on.
So that looks like they're doing. Sorry to interrupt. There's two people. There's the cop and the RoboCop, and they're going to switch over each show.
Yeah, each night is a different pair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
cool.
cool.
So Brad is on two of them, I think. Really should do my research.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We
So-
mentioned Tales Too Stupid to Tell before. Brad is a really great improviser. So
Yes.
if you want his comedy in comic form, get a copy.
Yep.
Agreed. I'm going to go like something random here and confuse myself. Ryan, you have, and I'll get it up on the screen. You, my friend, have a minute to promote yourself. Now I just got to find where the video is so I can press play. Ed, you're going to put him on the...
Oh, you want a big one? Who was it,
Yeah.
Ryan?
Ryan, yeah.
There you
I'm
go.
going like diagonal or something. I don't even know what I'm doing. Go crazy, man. Okay, starting now, my friend.
Cool. So I'm from Cornerbox Comic Art. So I work with Lauren Marshall, Jason Paulos, Colin Wilson. I've done signings with Dean Rankine and some international creators. I guess the biggest thing that I can ask right now is I'm really trying to grow the page so I can offer more opportunities to both local creators and hopefully get some really cool international things going as well. So if you're watching this, please go to facebook.com/cornerboxcomicart. Like us there. You can like us at cornerbox.comic.art on Instagram. If you like what we're doing, we'd love your support because we've got some great ideas. We just need to get the legs under us to actually make some stuff happen. So, your support would mean the world. Thank you.
Awesome. 3 seconds to spare. Well done.
Wow.
Okay, diagonal. Peter, talk about something you want us to know about and be involved in or buy or whatever.
You can get those at the ComX store. And it is available. Physical copies are still available and digital copies are available
Correct.
of that. And I recently wrapped up work on Lee Chalker's book, Battle for Bustle.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I did the lettering and design work and some minor editing. If you haven't read previous issues, this is a great jumping on point. It's like a volume 2, I guess is what you'd call it. That's what Lee's been calling it.
Yeah,
And I still have those trading cards from the Kickstarter.
Oh, cool.
That's
Which is a
awesome.
really great collection of artists from all over Australia. We've mentioned Jason Paulos and Ryan Bella, and our own Ed Kearsley. Who's your
Nice.
card here somewhere? Ed? There's one. Your Kung Fu
Wow.
Stories.
That's awesome.
You've got a couple, actually, Ed.
This 1 second's going forever.
Ooh, there's a few stuff. Sorry, Aaron. I'll hold it back up. There's a few sets of them available.
Very cool.
Thanks, Peter. Much appreciated. Anyone who has got any sense you want to buy these off Peter, how do you get them, Peter? I'll just extend your promotion.
These ones, you can contact me directly on Instagram. I'm at Peter Wilson.
By Peter Wilson,
Or on Facebook, Peter Wilson, and you'll see my profile picture, black and white, cartoony one there. Hit me.
Hey, Sean.
And Lee.
Chalker. So I'm going to go down there. And Sarib, let's promote
Awesome.
ComX 1.
Cool. So ComX.1 is an indie comics platform for, I don't like to call it just digital because it's digital for now, because we're kind of trying to bring digital and print together in some shape or form. But for now, we have over 300 comic books from over 200 creators from all over the world. And they're available in digital format to read. You can read online, or if some creators, they allow you to download as well, so you can download it anywhere and read it wherever you like. We're doing a lot of stuff. We have our own show called Freshly Pressed, not promoting my show over yours, but
No, you can do that. That's what this bit's about.
I know, but yeah, we have a show called Freshly Pressed where we feature a lot of indie creators from all walks of life and from all over the world as well. We have a lovely community, and please check out and buy some books from there. Support the indie creators.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Many thanks. And I've done this. Have I done this each time now? Made Ed last?
Yes.
Yes.
I think I have. Well, I always save the best for last. So, Ed, tell us about your awesomeness.
Okay. I make a comic book called Radical. It's a superhero comic set in Melbourne. There's lots of action and laughs and jokes and stuff. And at the moment, I'm working on my Final Dragon comic book, which is like a karate comic kind of set in the 80s or maybe the 90s or something. It's based on like Double Dragon with the two brothers who fight each other. And there's a lot of other stuff going on in that one. And you can find me at Ed Kearsley Art on Instagram and Patreon. I'm out.
Oh, Speed Demon. I can get rid of this now. Okay. So that's everyone's plug. Now we do. Do you want me to press the button, or are you going to press the button, my friend?
I want to do it.
Okay.
Okay, this is an ad.
Are you feeling a little down? Tired of reading the same old books again and again? Looking for something different? Why not head over to the ComX shop now and pick yourself up some freshly inked inspiration?
Woo, comic shop.
Yeah.
Hey, William.
Let's go. Murder Falcon. Yeah, Murder Falcon's good.
Cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
I need to know more about this karate comic, Ed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Final Dragon. It's in the first version of it's in ComX Presents 1, 2, and 3.
Hmm.
And so I'm doing 6 more pages to fill out the start of the story. And I'm going to recolor it and re-letter it and that'll be coming. Excuse me, it'll be coming out soon from ComX.
All the way in already, just from that one teaser image. You know,
Cool.
I spent so many hours playing Double Dragon as a kid. Like, so
It's
gotta
life
have
changing for me. Yeah.
Ah, cool. Well, what I was going to say about the shop was, I guess this is kind of like a promotion. But on August 25th, Brisbane has the Brisbane comic markets at ComX Plus at Annerley. The ComX shop and ComX studio will both be going to that event. So we'll have boxes from the store that you can pick through and find stuff that you like. And we'll also have all the ComX studio stuff on display ready to have a look at. So,
Sweet.
yeah.
Awesome.
As well as just go online and get them there if you want.
Awesome.
So I'm cheating. I should probably stop that and get it onto the quick shot round or the lightning round where we recommend stuff. Now, some might say I'm trying to get a favor from Peter Wilson, but regardless, I'm going to recommend Foes.
What do you
This
want?
comic is so awesome. I'm not going to go into it because that's not what this bit's about, but you want this comic. Trust me. It is so much fun. The young ones can read it as well. But you don't have to be a young one to enjoy this because it's just awesome. And I'm not saying that because there's a ComX logo somewhere on it. I'm saying it because it's a really cool comic. And I'm really proud that it's part of the ComX lineup. So
Thank you,
yes.
Sis.
Yeah, so and oh yes, not to mention that is as well, but yeah, I'm not trying to promote ComX Studio at all, although you should like it and love it and buy comics from it. Okay, that's my recommendation.
Thank you. That's inflated my ego a bit. Good.
And this time, Ed's going to go first because I've been making him go last all the time.
So, in the spirit of a comic book from the 90s that was revamped with the recent release of Greener Pastures #8, I'm going to recommend the original 7 and a bit Greener Pastures.
I love that 7 and a bit.
Love it.
Because there's 2 half issues in there as well, so there's
Yeah,
9 all up. But these are great comics. For me, this was the big 3 of Australian comic books that you could get at the newsagents with this Bug and Stomp and Platinum Grit.
Amazing.
So that's really cool, and because I'm doing some stuff with my old characters from the 90s, like it's really good to see other people revisiting their old stuff, and it's really good too. It's it's Tim McEwen and Michael Landis who did this in the 90s. So if you hit Tim McEwen up on the social media, I think he's still got the old copies from the 90s.
Yeah, I'll just butt in there. A good place to grab them is Own an Indie. It's a website, ownanindie.com, I think it is. I don't think there's a .au. They sell a lot of Australian indie comics. What it is, it's like a marketplace. And each person has their own store. So you buy something off that shop and the person who owns it will post it off to you.
Nice.
And Tim McEwen's one of the people on there.
Nice.
If it's 90s, I'm in.
Ah, that's the spirit.
Good taste, Alison.
Now I'm going to go diagonal again, and this time to Sarib.
Awesome.
Recommendation.
My recommendation would be a series called Incident Report. If you are into D&D gaming and things like that, you'll definitely love that series. It's about it's like a buddy cop comedy, not comedy, but it's a buddy cop story. Every issue is a different genre. The first issue is like a buddy cop thing. Second issue is more like an action adventure, but it follows story of like a setting where kids are born with superpowers, and there's like a child protective agency helping parents with kids with superpowers to tame their superpowers when they're early.
Oh, okay.
That kind of setup. Yeah, but it's a very interesting book. They've recently did a Kickstarter for issue 3, and they expanded the world with a game that ties into it. So they have their own, if you back the Kickstarter, you get like a case file with an incident report, and you can play that. So yeah, pretty cool series. Yeah,
I have to look that one up now. Thanks.
awesome.
Which way will I go this time? I'm going to make Peter last because I recommended him. So, Ryan.
That's fair.
I'm going comics adjacent. So it's not a comic. It's not even about comics, but it is adjacent to comics. So it's this book called Previously on X-Men, The Making of an Animated Series.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
This book was written by Eric and Julia Lewald, who wrote and produced the original X-Men animated series. So they speak to over 30 of the people involved in making the show. They take you through all the ups and downs about how the show got its foundations, how it launched, all the resistance to it, the people who put their whole careers on the line to try and make the show happen.
Wow.
And it goes really through some of the nitty gritty of what it looks like to try and get a TV show on the air, and all the processes involved. So what was the casting like? How did the storyboards come about? Like, who came up with the iconic theme music? How many alternatives did they go through before they got to the one that they thought was perfect? And then
That's my ringtone. That's how they decided which one.
Great choice.
And then what were all the challenges along the way? The entire show was constant effort to keep afloat, to the point where after the first season, they told everyone to go home. No one thought that they were going to have a job, but it still all came together, and they all managed to get 5 seasons,
Wow.
sort of against the odds. And this book was written before any news about X-Men 97 came out.
Cool.
So good.
So this is a whole bunch of super talented creatives looking back on an iconic achievement in their careers, thinking that it was done in the past and, nothing else was going to come of it. But we know now Disney had other plans. People like the Lewalds, Larry Houston, have been involved in this new X-Men 97 show. If you enjoyed X-Men 97, if you've watched the original show, or even if you just want to get a really in-depth play-by-play of how a TV show comes into creation, previously on X-Men.
Very
Nice. Thank you, Ryan.
Published by Jacobs Brown Press. I'm not sure whether you have to buy it direct through them. They are a small press, so it may be available on other platforms, or you may have to go directly through them.
All right,
Sweet.
cool.
Apology accepted.
I will this time. And I've totally forgot because I've mixed it all up and didn't go in a proper order. Okay, we've got... No, just joking. Peter, tell us your recommendation, my friend.
I'm doing a reread at the moment of Jeff Smith's Bone.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
Been a while since I read. I started rereading it because just last week I managed to pick up an issue 1,
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
which I was very happy with. And just preparing for this, I realized how much Bone stuff I've accumulated. There's an issue 1 of the Image reprint. Here's the first colored trade, which you can now get at Kmart for like $10 or $8. I would have killed for that when I started collecting these.
Oh,
It's really
wow.
cool in color as well. If you've ever read
Remind me
it,
to go to Kmart sometime soon.
Yeah.
there's a lot of charm to the black and white one, but it was really cool to see it in color. And the art of Bone,
Oh.
Oh, that would be nice.
which
Show
is a
us that
really
one.
good find. What I like about this one is it has iterations of these characters for when Jeff Smith was about 8 years old.
Oh, no way.
He's been working on these dudes for a long time.
Mm.
Wow.
Like, this story has existed in his mind since childhood. So this one could be hard to get. This big hefty one, which
Yeah,
is
that's
about
huge.
the size of a phone book. But I do recommend going to your local Kmart and picking up this one, especially the first volume. It's a great, almost self-contained story, but it's really cartooning at its finest and a really great indie success story to boot. Perfectly blends cartoons, comedy, fantasy. Just a really great read. I'm sure if you're into comics and you're watching this, odds are you've heard of Bone. So reread it.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot. And that's
cool.
my humble recommendation.
Can't remember the story. We need to reread it again. Go to Kmart.
Yeah.
I actually haven't read any Bone. I mean, I was a bit of a big two stuck in that box for so long when I got back into reading comics that it's only sort of the last 5 years, maybe 5 to 10 years, somewhere in there, where I've started to pick up on a lot of things that I shouldn't have missed, back in the day. So
That's how I felt too when I finally read it for the first time. My library happened to have it, and I just heard of it for so long. It's time to get it done, and let's read it, and then I couldn't put it down.
Cool.
good reason to go to your local library.
Absolutely.
Yeah, libraries have sick comics now.
They really do.
Yeah. So we said this earlier, and I'll say it again. If you want to be on the show, tell us your recommendation. We have done everyone, right? Okay. ComX / interest. Sorry, I thought I'd forgotten someone. Everyone was quiet then. Yeah, so you want to be on the show, on this show, tick that box for this show. If you want to be on one of the other shows, tick those boxes. You don't need to be an indie creator to be on this show. You just have to be someone who loves comics. That's it. That's all we ask. Hell, you can be in Mars if you want. Don't care. As long as you get the time zones right, we're all good. So yeah.
You could hate comics, but you just have to be like really sort of loquacious and convincing about it.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. As long as you're convincing that it was a good book and that you enjoyed it, we're all happy.
Come in and tell us about the book you hated.
That might make the recommendation part difficult, but yeah. So we'd love to have you on. Don't be shy. All you need is an internet connection, a microphone, and a camera. Sometimes they're built into your laptop or phone. You can use your phone. You don't have to use a laptop. As long as you got those things, you can come on the show. Tell us about what you love about comics and what comics you love. I think that's it. I think we've done it.
Nice.
Thank you to all our guests. Thank you to Ed for pushing the buttons much better than I do on the other shows. And thank you to everyone who watched the show live. Thank you to everyone who's watching the show after the fact. Thank you all who sent in their comments. Much appreciated. Tell your friends about us. Share the video. Like the video because that always helps us as well. And most of all, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to ComX Net AU. That's the name of the channel. And that's also the website, comx.net.au. Yeah, so love to see you on the show. Let us know that you want to be on here.
Yes. And
I
we'll
went
be back on Thursday.
Didn't I? Sorry, Ed?
We'll be back on Thursday for Let's Make a Comic Book.
Yes. And we've got the other shows, but this week, Tuesday and Wednesday are taking a break. So the next show is Thursday. So you've got me and Ed tonight as hosts. You got me and Ed Thursday night as hosts. And then you've got me as a button pusher and Ed and Shannon as the hosts on Friday Drink and Draw. So it's an Ed and Siz week. Be excited, people.
What's the Drink and Draw theme this week?
Drink and Draw theme is Plastic Man.
Oh, good choice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's very interesting what you can draw there too, because he can pretty much turn into anything. Just always with that suit on.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what people are going to come up with. So yes, if Ed's quick enough or can find it, because I don't think I put it in a really easy to find place. If you want to send art in for that show, it's comx.show/art.
Oh, wait a minute.
Or just comx.show and go to the menu. And that's where you submit your art for every week. That's also where you submit your art for fan art of Bitsy the tradie cat. So that's a good place to go as well.
Nice.
And I think we've done it, Ed. I think that's the show.
All right. Go.
I could do the polite way and go, good night all. Oh, we got some more things. Going to came out tomorrow.
Came out
I
tomorrow.
think I'll do the
That's a great outcome.
Always excited. You guys are my safe space right now.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, that's awesome, Shawnee.
Well, there you go.
Um,
And is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Press the button, dude.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good night,
Bye,
everyone.
all. Thank you for watching.
Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.